So last time we have started this heap data structure, right? Okay. So heap basically it is a binary, complete binary tree, right? So complete binary tree means all the levels are full, right? Except maybe the last one where all the elements are supposed to be left aligned, right? So this is the last level where all elements are supposed to be left aligned, right? As most as possible, right? So means is actually there should be no gap in between, right? So if you count numbers from here, right, you can count it as 1, it as 2. This is how we implement it as a binary, as a array, right? So if we count, we can count actually from top to bottom, from left to right, and there is no gap in between. That is why actually we're calling it as complete binary tree. Correct. So by nature, heap is a complete binary tree. Now we can uh, other conditions are as follows. So that it may be either a max heap or min heap. So it will be a max heap if every node follows as this. So every node should be, the key value of every node should be either greater than or equal to. So then it's children, right? So if every node follows this condition, right, then it is a max heap. For example, this 14 is greater than 12 and 7, right? So if every node in that complete binary tree follows this condition that node's key value is greater than equal to its children, then it is a max heap. And reverse of it means if every node key value is smaller or equal than its children, then it becomes min heap. That is what actually we've discussed. And since it is basically a complete binary tree, so a nice representation of this kind of structure will be array. So using array, you can store, for example, if your input elements are these, right? 77, then 61, 59, and so on. So you can store these elements in an array, starting at position 1. So first element will come at position 1, 2, and so on. So we will actually put that 0th cell empty in the array. Otherwise, you will be in difficult, right? You need to change your algorithm. So it will be easy to realize actually to store elements from position number 1 onwards. Correct? So this is what we will do. Reason we have discussed last slide, right? Okay. So we will fill that array in this form, right? First element will go here, second index element will come here, third index, 4, 5, 6, and so on, right? Up to n. This is the last index in your array. Okay. Now, as heap is also a data structure, so as any data structure, there are a few basic operations that you are expecting with every data structure, right? So creation of a empty heap, max heap, or min heap, right? Then insertion a element into a max heap or min heap, right? Or deletion of an element. So in deletion, there is slight difference, right? So deletion you can only do from the root node only, right? Root node. Why? Reason is actually in max heap or min heap you only know about the root node. So you can only say that root node contains either maximum value if you are working with max heap, or root node contains minimum value, right, if it is implemented as a min heap. You don't know about any other element, right? In the sense you never says that in a heap, let us say this is root node, right? This is left child, right child. So if it contains 10 and there are 2 more elements, right? 5, 2 and 5. So 5 will either come here or 5 may come here, right? 2 may either come here or 2 can be stored here in a max heap. In both cases, it is a max heap. So you don't know, you cannot predict actually where other elements are going to be stored in max heap. But you are very sure if it is a max heap, then this root node must contain the maximum element. So you can only work with sure elements, right? When we go for deletion, you can only delete if you know something. So in heap, we will not allow actually any deletion or here, right? In internal nodes. So you will always delete an element from root node, right? It is from application point of view. So, okay, so let us start with some basic operations. So since it is implemented as a complete binary tree, right? We are looking at it as a tree, binary tree. So to find out parent of any node, right, with index I is I by 2. Since it is a binary tree, so any index ith index node have I minus 2 parent, right? Similarly, if you are interested in left child will be 2 into I. So I is index, right, of a node to whom you are interested in finding left child, right? Similarly, right child of node I is left child plus 1. So 2 into I plus 1. So this will be the index of right subchild. Fine. So now how to insert a node in max heap? Assume that this is your initial max heap, right? Max heap. Similarly, you can actually also delete or insert in a min heap. So I am working initially with max heap. Fine. So max heap is more important actually for our sorting algorithm. So we are moving with max heap. So assume this is our initial max heap, right? Now, if let us say you want to insert a new value 5 in this max heap. So as you know, so initial elements will be n, right? So in this case, they are 5. So n is equal to 5 in this case, right? So now after this insertion of this new element 5, your size will increase by 1. So your size will now become 6. So till this, right, all the cells must be full. So since this node initially is empty, so what we need to do first, you need to increase size of this array by 1, right? So initially, let us say you have taken a size 20 of your array, but actual elements means n maybe is 12, but array size you have taken initially is 20, right? Array you need to fix, then you start insertion, right? So let us say initially you have taken a 20 size array, right? And after keep on inserting elements, finally total number of elements in your array will be, let us say, 12 at some point of time. Now you want to insert 13th element, right? So now if you want to insert 13th element, 13th cell must be there in that case, because you know that I have initially taken 20 cell array. So that element is, if it is not the case, you need to expand that array. There are ways you can create another space, right? Copy all the elements, 12 elements, right? So you can take a bigger size array and then copy other elements, then change the name of that array. So there may be different ways of expansion, right? Some programming language have a way to expand an array, right? So they will provide algorithms. Fine. So you need to expand in that case. But if there is a cell, if empty cell is there in your array, then you can increase the size of your max heap. Initially, max heap size will be, let us say, 12. There are only 12 elements, right, of max heap. Now you want 13th element to be inserted. So you know after insertion, this last cell will be filled, right? This space must be filled since there is no gap in between, right, after insertion. So this must be filled. So candidate cell for this new node 5 will be this last position, right? So your max heap size will be now increased with plus 1, right? N equal to n plus 1. So now your size of your max heap will be 6. So initially the candidate location where you can store is only this cell. But if you insert 5 here, problem will be that maybe that this 5 is greater than its parent. You need to fulfill that max heap conditions, right? So Before insertion, what you can do is you can compare actually this 5 with its parent position, right? Parent position contains 2. So compare this 5 with 2. Since 5 is greater than 2, 2 must be shifted from here to here. And then candidate position for this new element 5 will be now 2. Right? So 2 will be shifted here. Now candidate position for 5 is this. Don't store it straight away. Again compare this 5 with 20, its immediate parent's key. It is possible that this will be the largest element, 5 will be the largest element. It is possible, right? So keep on comparing with its children, right? Until you will get a greater value at parent location or it becomes root. 5 comes at root. So in both of the condition, if you are at root, then store that 5 right away. If its parent is greater, then also store that 5 at the current location, right? So since here 20 is greater than 5, store that 5 right away, right? I hope you're getting. Now, let us say you want to store something called 21, right? So correct candidate place for 21 initially will be this. You need to increase size of this max heap by 1. So it becomes 7 now. So 7th place will be the candidate place for 21. But before storing, you need to, since you want to maintain max heap, you need to compare this 21 to its immediate parent. So 5. So since 21 is greater than 5, so 5 should be shifted here. So 5 को हम यहाँ पे shift कर देंगे, right? Then 21, this place will be candidate place for 21. Now compare this 21 with its immediate parent key, right? So immediate parent key will be 20. So since 20 is smaller, so 20 will be shifted here. And 21 position, correct position or candidate position for 21 will be this now. Now since this is root node, store this value right away. So finally 20 will come here, and here comes 20 and 5 will be shifted here. So insertion is over. So this is how insertion will be done. So if you look at the algorithm, what we need, you need an element that you want to insert. You need a variable that contains size of that max heap. That is n. Normally you consider it as n. Then max size will be size of your array. Array can be a greater size, right? Initially you need to choose an array, then you start filling max heap elements. So it can be, in general, it should be more than n, right? Okay, so you need to first check, if you are inserting something, you need to check whether your array have extra space or not. If there is no extra space in your array, means array is initially full, right? For example, here. So you need to actually, if you need to increase that n by 1, right? Since you want to add one element. But if let us say n plus 1 or size plus 1, right, is greater than equal to max size. So in general, when you are working with array, let us say max size is 20. So actual elements will be 0 to 19, right? In general, right? In array. Or if you are storing from 1 to 20 position, it is okay, right? Then this size must be 21, right? Then only you can store. If you want to store from position number 1, you can only store 20 elements, but it started from position number 1. Fine. In both of the cases, you need to check whether there is an empty space or not. If you consider this, then you need to avoid this equal to. If you are storing values from 0 to max size minus 1, then you have to compare greater than equal to. So if this, after increasing size of that max heap elements by 1, if it is greater than equal to max size, means if space is not available, then you need to print max is full and you need to exit from that algorithm. You cannot actually insert because there is no empty cell, right? So assume that empty cell is there, means size 1, size plus 1, right? This space is available, right? Size plus 1, this space is available in the array. Then what you need to do? You need to first give increment to size, because working place, right? Working or possible slot for storing this item will be size plus 1. So give increment to size. Max size will be incremented by 1. Then store the index. Size is index, right? So this index into I. So now I will be the candidate place where you can store that new element item, right? So now you need a for loop because you need to compare. So till what point you need to compare? Maybe this I becomes root. So while I is not equal to 1, you need to keep on comparison, right? Or this new element, if it is greater than parent of I is I by 2, right? So heap is your array name, right? So if this item is greater than heap I by 2 element at I by 2th position, means if its immediate parent's key, then you need to shift, you need to actually swap, you need to store this parent element at its child position. You need to actually make that upper slot, parent slot, empty as a candidate space for your new element to be inserted, right? Then I becomes its parent. Shift this I towards its parent. Now again repeat this operation, right? Either it becomes root, or again you need to compare that ith your item will be with the its parent, new parent, right? So keep on working this. Either finally you becomes this I becomes a root of the tree, right? Or if parent exists, then if parent is key is smaller than the item, then you need to swap it. Or if it becomes, if this condition becomes false, means your parent key is smaller or I becomes root, then you need to store that element right away, the same location, right, at ith position. Store that element at this ith position, then operation is over. So this is how you do insertion, right, that you've done in a data structure course. Fine. So this is about deletion, right? If you want to delete, you can only delete from the root position, right? So if you want to remove, you can only remove this 20 in this max heap. So if you want to delete something, you cannot actually make that space empty. So what you can do, you can actually store this last element at this position. So 20 will be automatically get deleted if you store 10 here as this. After storing this element here, you don't want a duplicate node, right? So you need to delete this position from the max heap. How you can delete? You can reduce size by 1, right? Means n number of elements. So n by 1. So now number of elements becomes n minus 1 or size minus 1, right? So reduce that cell. So and store this last cell element at the root place, right? Now after storing this root, this element, this will be the smallest element, right? One of the smallest element. You are storing at root. So if you see it carefully, this subtree and this subtree will still be a max heap. Only problem occurs here because you have shifted some smaller, one of the smaller element here at the root. So you need to adjust somehow this smaller element from here to its right place. What you will do, you will compare, you need to compare this 10 with, because you need to fix it at its correct place, right? This is max heap, this is max heap, but this, because of this root node, this is not a max heap now, maybe, right? So you need to compare this 10 with its children, and you need to keep on swapping, right? You need to shift this 10 to its right place. How you can shift it? Compare this 10 with 15 and 12. Since 15 is largest among these three and greater than 14, so 15 should come here. Shift 15 here and 10 here. Then again compare this 10 with its immediate child, right? So since 14 is greater than 10, so 14 comes here and 10 should be shift here. Again you need to compare this 10 with its immediate children if exist. So you need to keep on comparing, right? Or finally this n will be shifted to its correct place. For example, in this example, this 10 should be shifted here. I hope you are getting, right? So this also you have done in data structure course, so I am moving slightly fast. I am not repeating it. So now in this case, size should be given, right, to delete it, and there should be max size, array size, right? Because it is possible that deletion, right? If you are deleting something and initially size is 0, so you cannot delete. Means your initially number of elements in your max heap are 0. So if that number is 0, then you cannot delete. It means you can just, so your heap is empty, so you need to just exit, right? But if you can delete, if your max heap contains at least one element, right, then you can store that root element at a temporary variable item, right? Since you need to fix this item, this root element at its correct place, right, after deletion. So first you need to delete this, right? What you need to delete? You need to delete root element. Root element is what you have stored, now it is in item. So at last of this deletion algorithm, we will return this item, right? So whenever you delete something in a data structure, in general, so if you are a good programmer, you should always return that value, because if you are deleting, maybe you are using it somewhere. Whenever you call delete operation in any data structure, right, in general, so maybe you want to use that deleted element somewhere. So always return that element. If you don't want to use it, so you will never catch that element, right, in the calling function, right? So you want to delete this, right? So now after storing it into item, right, now you can work with, right? So you can work in that max heap. So how you will delete? So you need to actually, last element should be now stored at the root place, right? So root element we have already secured, right, by storing it into this temporary variable item, right, that we can return later. Now since now root is empty in the sense, right, so you can store last element at this first place, at the root place, right? Now you can start working. Then you need to reduce the size of that max heap by 1. So that last position is now deleted, right? You will never go and access that place now, since size is less than 1, right? You have reduced it by 1. Now you need to start working, right? Last cell is deleted, last element is stored at root. Now what? You need to start comparison. You need to start comparing that root node with its children. That is what actually we are doing here. So you need to create a parent. Initially root position will be parent. So index I1 will be your parent, right? And temp is already defined, right? So root position is now new root element will be your temp now, right? And since 1 is parent, root node is parent, its children will be now 2, right? So left child. So it is left child, right? So now while child is less than equal to size, since child will be some new lower node, right? Sometimes it is possible that this child becomes null, right? So it is reach actually more than size. So it is not a valid position in max heap in that case. So you need to stop there, right? So until child is a valid position, right, means it is less than equal to size. So then you can actually compare two values. So since it is valid position, so it can be compared with its parent. So you have to find out max, right? So here using this statement, what you are doing, you are actually finding this is right child of ith node or parent node. So this is parent, let us say, right? This is child and this is child plus 1. So this is right child. Child is your left child, right? And right child will be child plus 1. So child plus 1 is less than equal to that. You are verifying whether right child exists or not. So if it is less than equal to size, means it is a valid position in max heap. So this position is valid. So you can compare it. It can be used in comparison, right? Otherwise, if there is no right child, then there is no meaning of comparing it, right? So if this condition is true, if it is a valid position and heap child, so this child means left child is less than right child, right? It means what? Right child contains the largest element, greater element between left child and right child. Then you need to shift this child, increment this child by 1. So you need to actually remember position of the largest element. So you are comparing left child value and right child value. If right child value is greater, then child becomes child plus 1, else left child will remain in child. So finally, after this if statement, your child will contain either left child index or right child index, whatever contains a greater key in between the two, right? Now you need to compare it with the parent node. First we have find out the largest value between these two, then largest value we are comparing with the root node here. So if temp is greater than equal to child, temp is what? Temp contains your root element, right? So if temp contains greater than child, so child will either contain this index or this index, whatever it will be greater, right? So we are comparing it with the root element, right? Temp contains initially the root, right? So then break. Why? It means temp is already greater. Temp is already greater, so it is maxi, greater than both of its children. Then you need to break. Else, if this condition is false, means child contains some greater element, then you need to store this child at its parent location. Then update that child becomes now parent for next iteration, right? So if you are defining a new parent, then your child variable again changes, right? So you will get a new child now. So child is equal to child into 2, correct? So now work with new parent and child in this while loop. Again find out. So you have shifted, right? So keep on shifting towards downside, right? Until that element get fixed, or you will reach to a leaf node. So when you will finally stop, stop when a child is not, so it is not valid. You have reached to some leaf node. You need to stop that, right? So finally you will store that temp at its parent location, right? So parent cell will remain empty, right? So you need to store that initial element, initially root element you have stored in temp. So finally you need to store this temp at the empty location, right? Parent, because childs are now either containing greater element or smaller elements, or there is no child. So you need to store at parent. So parent must be there, right? Finally return the item, right, that you have stored initially. So the element that you have deleted basically, right? So return that. So deletion and insertion you have already worked, so I am not repeating it. I am not taking example of this now. So now move to that heap sort. So heap sort we are implementing using max heap, right? So consider this is your input array, right? This is your input array. In complete binary tree form, it will be look like this, right? These are the elements. First element is this, second element is third, and elements are stored from index number 1 to onwards. They are total 10 elements. So this is your input max heap, right? It is not max heap basically. We are trying to implement it, right? So you can think of this heap sort as an application of max heap, right? So using max heap, you can actually sort the elements. This is the idea. So you can consider this heap sort as an application of max heap, right? So you can use mix heap to sort the elements. This is the idea, right? So assume this is your initial array, unsorted array, right? This is your initial unsorted array, and assume it is in complete binary tree form. It looks like this, right? Now what you need to do? You need to convert this input binary, complete binary tree into a max heap first. To sort, you need to convert this input array into max heap. How you can convert this into max heap? Right. After conversion, you will get a max heap as this. So you can see largest element comes here, right? Then you can see that every node contains larger value. But how you can convert a given array into max heap? So in general, you need to start creation of max heap from lower side. So first create max heap at this node, then max heap at this node. So since this node contains, you consider this as a subtree. So this subtree contains single element is always max heap. This is again single element, so always max heap. This is also a max heap. This is also a max heap, right? This is also a max heap since it is single node. Now look at this subtree. We are actually moving from lower end to upper side. So first we convert this into max heap. Then we convert this into max heap. Then we convert this into max heap. Then we convert this whole tree as a max heap, right? Then finally we convert whole as a max heap. So we'll move from lower side. So first work with this node, right? Consider this as a rooted tree, right? And convert into max heap. So it will be easy because it has only one child, or it may at most have two childs, right? So 61 is greater than 19, so it is max heap, already max heap. Fine. Then move to this node, a rooted subtree, a rooted at this node, right? So 1. So here you need to compare all these three elements. So 48 is the largest one. So swap 48 with 1. So 1 comes here and 48 goes here, right? So it becomes now max heap. Why we have started with the lower side? You require actually lesser work to do. So now this subtree becomes max heap. This subtree also becomes max heap. Now you need to move here, right? You need to compare all these three, and greater should come here, right? Greater is already here, so it is already max heap. Now come here at this node, right? At this node. So 61 is here, 48 is shifted here, right? And 1 is basically here. Now you need to compare this 5 with 48 and 61. Since 61 is greater, you need to shift this 61 here, and 5 should come here. After 5 is here, you need to again compare this 5 with 19. So why don't, so you can relate actually it with the deletion algorithm. In deletion algorithm, problem is with the root node, and then root node element you are actually trying to fix it and at its correct place, right? While moving in one path, in some path, right? Towards maybe the left child or towards right child, right? So you have to fix actually that. Same thing you are doing. So while looking at this position, right? While looking at this position, this left subtree was already max heap. Right subtree was already max heap, right? You need to fix this element. So you need an algorithm, right? Using which this single element issue will be resolved. So problem issue will be only with this rooted node, right? Left subtree is already max heap, right? Right subtree is also actually a max heap. Problem is only here at this root position. So this element should be shifted to its right place somehow using some function, correct? Then this whole becomes a max heap. Finally you will reach here again. So while you reach here, this left subtree becomes max heap, right subtree is also a max heap, only now problem will be here. So you need to fix this 26 to its correct place using the same algorithm. You can call that same algorithm, right? That will help you to fix the root node value to its correct place, right? So this is how actually we will do, right? So if you finally work with this algorithm, position of this 60. So initially we have actually started with this node, right? This node, because single nodes are already max heaps. So this is the first subtree where there is at least one children, right? So how to find out index of this node? Index will be size divided by 2. Parent of size, right? Last position is size, or n, right? N divided by 2 is the index of first subtree that contains at least one child. So we will start from here, n by 2th position, and then goes decrementing it by 1 every time. So first we will work with n by 2, then n by 2 minus 1, then n by 2 minus 2, n by 2 minus 3, and finally you reach to this root node, right? So this type of algorithm we need to create. We will look at it later on, right? Now, finally, at the end of this function, you will get a max heap. So max heap is here. So it is now converted into max heap, right? After that operation. Now using this max heap, now we will try to sort elements. If somehow we can convert that initial binary tree, complete binary tree into a max heap, then actually we can sort the elements. Elements are not sorted right now, right? Only thing is you know about this rooted element, right? Root element. You know that this will be the largest element in this array or in this max heap. You don't know about the position of other elements. Second largest can be this, or second largest can be this, right? Third largest will be one of, so third largest will be the remaining one. Fourth largest will be one of these four, right? So other elements you cannot actually very sure, but you are very sure about this rooted element, right? Root element. Now, how you can sort? So in this case, what we will do is, since we are very sure about the, let's assume that you want to sort them in increasing order, right? Then this root element should come at the last position in your array, means it should come here, right? So do in the same way, right? Swap this first node element with the last place element. So 5 will come here and 77 will go here at last place. Since now 77 is here, it is now its correct place, right? So 77 should come at the last place, right? So it is there after swapping. So why don't you reduce array size by 1? Since 77 after swapping, this 77 will be its correct place, right? You don't want to touch this cell later on, right? So fix this cell. Fix this cell means you can reduce this size by 1. So now your array will contain only n minus 1 number of elements. So reduce that variable size or n by 1. Correct? As this. So first exchange or swap these two positions. So 77 will come here and this element 5 will go at this place, right? Now reduce size by 1. So now array will contain only n minus 1 number of elements. Since 5 is shifted at this place, and you can see that this subtree will now contain, it is actually a max heap, and right subtree is also remains a max heap, right? Only problem is with this node, right, which now contains 5, and 77 is actually here after swapping, right? So problem is only with this node, right? We know how to handle it, right? We have already done this kind of exercise before. So you need to compare this 5 with its children. So there is an algorithm, right? You can call that algorithm, right? Using that algorithm, this 5 will be shifted somewhere or goes to its correct place. Then it becomes a max heap again. So this whole tree now becomes max heap, right? Assuming this is not part of your max heap now. So this is what actually you are trying to do. So 77 you have cut off from this max heap and finally create this whole remaining tree as a max heap, right? So now you, after first iteration, you will be in this position, right? So you are actually with a max heap with n minus 1 number of elements, and one element is already sorted. In next iteration, again this 61 will be now replaced with, or it is swapped with the last position. Last position is now this 9. So swap this 61 with 1. So we'll get 1 here and 61 here, right? Then you need to reduce array of this size again by 1 for next iteration, right? And you need to fix this element, right? This element now is 1 instead of 61, right? So you need to again fix it using the same algorithm, right? So finally, what you will get actually after a second iteration, you will get a max heap with n minus 2 number of elements, and 2 elements are get sorted. In next iteration, this element will get sorted, right? So this will contain now 55, 59. So what you are doing in each iteration, you need to do a swap. How? First with the last cell in that array. Then reduce size of that array by 1. Then apply that function, special function that will actually fix that root position to its correct root element to its correct place to become a max heap, right? So in next iteration, 59 will be fixed here. So array size will be reduced by 1, and this will become max heap. So in next iteration, this 48 will be shifted here, right? So 48 will be at correct place, and you need to again make it max heap, right? So every time one element will get sorted, right? So here next time this will be at sorted place, next time this 19 will be at its sorted place, right? Then 11 will, so here 15 will be at sorted place, then 11 will be. So every time after every iteration, one more element is added to that sorted array, right? Your unsorted elements will be reduced by 1 after every iteration. So look at that L. So finally, so you need to only work actually with the second last element. So if you sort n minus 1 element, root element will be automatically get sorted because it will remain with the smallest element if you sorted all other n minus 1 number of elements. So in each iteration you are starting from n down to 2. You need to only, so when you are working with n, you will sort this nth place. When n minus 1, you will sort to n. So you need to move from n down to 2. So if you sort all elements till this position 2, first element will be automatically get sorted. It will remain with the smallest element, right? So you will get a sorted array, right? So elements are now sorted. So this is how you are working. So this is the algorithm, right, of heap sort. What you need to do, you need to somehow first build that given array A, right, into a max heap by using some function. Assume that function is this build max heap function. Using this function, you want to sort the input array. If you get this sorted array, right, we will look at this algorithm later. So let us look at it right now, right? So how you can create a max heap, initial max heap, right? You can create that initial max heap. This is very easy algorithm, right? You need to move from size divided by 2, right, down to 1. Initially, you need to fix size divided by 2, right? I hope you remember, right? We have started with size divided by 2, means parent of last node. So in that subtree, we will first convert it into max heap. Then we reduce that size by 2 minus 1. Then again, so how to so in every such case, the problem is only with the root node. At size by 2, if you remember, there is only one child, right? So problem will be definitely at root node, right? So using this Heapify, this algorithm, we are actually trying to convert into max heap, right? Then we reduce it size by 2 minus 1. Again, we convert that subtree into max heap by calling this Heapify algorithm. We will see this Heapify later, right? So using this call, basically we are converting that input array into max heap. So if somehow you can able to convert that into max heap, then what you will do, you need to use a for loop that will go from size down to 2. So you need to first sort that size position, then size minus 1, then size minus 2, find up to second place. First will be automatically get sorted, right? So how you sort in every, when I is equal to size, how you sort that last place, you need to actually interchange or swap first position with last position, ith position. I is initially size, right? So swap these two. After swapping, you need to reduce array size by 1. So now last place is now gone away from that max heap, right? Then you need to call hippify. Hippify, what this so we have used hippify here also, right? What this hippify function will do? Hippify function will work when left subtree is already max heap, right subtree is already max heap. Problem is only with the root node. This is what is happening here also, right? If you look at here also actually problem is same, and here also problem is same. So condition is if left subtree is already max heap, right subtree is already max heap, and problem is with the root node, you need to fix root node element at its correct place. Then call this hippify algorithm. So hippify will always call at the root node in some array A. So problem is with the root node, right? So here we will always send 1, means root. So we need to fix that root somehow. Here we are doing something else, right? We are sending size. Why? Because subtree rooted at size divided by 2. So problem is with the size divided by 2, and size divided by 2 is now becomes this I. Sorry, this will be I. So it is not size, it is I. Right? Problem is with the I. Next time problem is with the size by 2 minus 1, means I minus 1. Right? It should be I. Right? Okay. So now how this hippify will work? I think you can remember the hippify. Hippify, so there is a node, right, where you want to apply that hippify. Means considering that node as a root node, left subtree is already max heap, right subtree is already max heap. Problem is only with the ith position, right? So this is ith position. You need to first find out left child, then find out right child. This is right child index, left child index. So if I is there, left child index is there, right child index is there, you can compare these three. So there are different ways, right? One way is you can compare left child, first verify whether it is a valid position or not, less than equal to size or not. Then compare this left child with AI. AI is the root. So compare left child and root. This is another way, right? Then store if this is greater, if left child contains a greater value, then store this index in largest, this temporary variable, right? Else I will be stored in largest, because in that case root will be the largest, right? Then compare that largest, whatever will be largest, right? Largest may contain I, may contains L child, whatever it contains. Now compare this largest with the left child. First of all check, right child. So first check this right child exists or not. If right child exists, then if right child is containing the largest element, then the value which is stored at largest index, then update this largest with the right child. Now finally, after this statement, largest, this variable largest will contain index of the value, largest value among these three, root, left child and right child. So whatever the largest among these three, index of that node will be stored in the largest variable. Now if largest is not equal to I, if largest is I, you don't need to swap anything, right? So work is done. You need to come out of this hippify. It is actually max heap. But if largest contains some another index other than I, means either left child or right child contains the largest element, then you need to do swapping, right? Then you need to do swapping. So if largest is not equal to I, it is not equal to root node, then exchange, right? AI with the A largest, AI with A largest, right? So if you are swapping, then that smaller element will come downside, right? Either at left child as a left child or either as a right child. So if that smaller element will come down, you need to again compare that smaller element with its new children. So that is what actually you are doing here. So you need to recursively call this hippify algorithm, because you have actually shifted that smaller element lower side. So now you need to compare that new element with its new children's, right? So you need to compare that largest. So this will be you sent, right? So problem with the largest index, right? So largest is not equal to I. So it is either left child or right child. So consider it as a right child, right? So largest is the right child. So right child will go as a root node. So you are sending actually right subtree basically in hippify operation again, right? So you need to again find the left child of that right child and right child, then again compare the largest one again among those three. So you need to keep on working in the way until you will get a max heap, right? It means that element is got a correct place in that child, right? So this is how actually heap sort will work. So using hippify operation, you will fix a single element issue, right? So hippify algorithm will work at some index I, considering that left child is already max heap, right subtree is already max heap. Problem is only with the root. So you need to fix that root node element at its correct place, doing it recursively. So hippify algorithm here is recursive algorithm. Recursively, it will go downsides and fix that root element at its correct place. I hope this algorithm is clear. If it is not, you can ask me later, right? So let us move to the analysis part. So how much time this hippify algorithm will take, right? Hippify algorithm actually takes log n time. Why? In worst case you are doing recursively, right? You are working in a tree and always you are moving towards leaf node. So in worst case, this root element will be fixed as a last node somewhere. In worst case, right? Maximum number of times you want to run this hippify, right? So in worst case, this root node element will fix to some leaf node. So you will move actually in some path in that complete tree, binary tree, right? So in one iteration, if you look at this code, right, till this point, it will take constant time, right? So there is no loop here. It takes constant time, right? Then you are calling, right? You are exchanging. So again, it will take constant time exchanging, right? You require 3 steps in journal, right? So then you call hippify. So every one shift requires a constant time, right? This whole statement will take constant time till this period, right? Till this time. So constant time plus a recursive call, right? Again, you need to repeat that operation. So how much repetitions you want? You want repetition equivalent to height of this tree. So one repetition here, right? Second repetition, third repetition. How much repetition in worst case? Equivalent to height of it, right? So height is what? Since it is a complete binary, height is log n. So how many times you need to repeat this operation? Log n times. So total cost will be log n. It depends on n, right? So log n will be the cost of hippify operation. Now find out the cost of this maxi. Maxi operation cost. So if this hippify takes log n time, you need to call this. So size will be, assume it is n, right? N by 2 down to 1. And you are calling n by 2 times. In worst case, n by 2 times you are calling this log n cost, right? So n into log n, right? 1 by 2 will become constant. So you are saying n by 2 multiplied by log n, right? This will be the cost in worst case. So that is n log n. 1 by 2 is consumed as a constant, right? So this statement, built-in max heap, this statement will take n log n time in worst case. What about this? Here, there is a loop of n order, right? Size down to 2. So it is n order loop, right? And n times you are calling this hippify. Hippify is what? it will take log n, right? So log n time. So n time log n. So this statement executes n time, but this internal statement, right, hippify, execute n log n time. So there is no statement in this algorithm which takes more than n log n time. So overall cost will be n log n, right? So heap sort in worst case takes n log n time. In best case is also n log n, right? Best case is also n log n. Why? What is the best case here? You cannot actually reduce this for loop. You cannot reduce this for loop. Only thing is, there is something here, right? Hippify operation, right? Since you are storing some lowest value at the root always, so definitely you need to work. So it should actually go at some lower pace, right? So you cannot say that in best case that element, rooted element, will not be shifted, means it is greater than its children. This argument is not valid because we know that we are shifting some smallest, one of the smallest element at the root place. So it must go down towards the last level. So in best case also actually this hippify operation will work for log n times, right? So because of this max heap, right, this operation, always this hippify will work log n times, right? It is possible that in max cave it will not go till end. It is possible, but it must go somewhere because you have chosen some element from the lowest level and put it at the root. So it will be either go at the lowest level or one level before that lowest level, but it cannot remain at the root because initially it was max heap. So max heap lower level must contain the smallest set of elements. One of them you have shifted at the root. I hope you are getting this point, right? So here in best case also this hippify will work for log n time, nearly log n time, right? So total cost will be n log n. So in best case also it is n log n. Then obviously their average case will be n log n, right? So this algorithm is stable? No. Why it is not stable? Because you are shifting element from one place to another place, right? Abruptly. So definitely it cannot be stable. You are not actually preserving that position, right? Since because of this shifting, right? Shifting between first position and last position, for example, right? This kind of swappy will not make it remain stable, so right? So in place. So is it in place? How much extra space, extra variables you have taken? These are constant, right? So 3 or 4 extra variables are required. So it is constant. So it is in place. Internal sort, definitely, because every time you need everything, right? Every array element. In every operation, you require every element. So whole array must be in RAM before starting these operations, right? Working with this algorithm, correct? Okay. So let us move to now new. So heap sort is over, right? If you have any question, you can ask me later. Now we are moving to a new style of algorithm design that is called as divide and conquer approach of writing or designing algorithms, right? So there are many algorithm design approaches that we will see while moving in this algorithm course. Till this point, we have looked at many algorithms, right? All those algorithms that we have worked with till this point are actually, majority of them are linear algorithms, right? Or you can say those algorithm uses linear designing approach, right? For writing algorithms. Why linear? What is linear? And what is this new divide and conquer? Linear, where algorithms go linearly one after the other, right? Divide and conquer, where you look at that problem in different way. right? So we will define this linear. So in linear, I think thing is clear. So when you go linearly one after the other in that algorithm, while writing an algorithm, right, you write first step, then second step, third step, and finally the last step, and over. Algorithm is over. You don't need to jump anywhere. So linear approach, right? Now, what is divide and conquer? I think you should first see this definition. Then I think you can find out the difference between these two. With the name, I think it is clear that you divide and then conquer. A divide and conquer designing approach requires these 3 steps, right? So these are designing approach, right? How to design an algorithm, how to write an algorithm. So how to write an algorithm in divide and conquer approach is this. So first we define this divide and conquer. So it is defined using these 3 words: divide, conquer, and combine. Right? So a divide and conquer kind of algorithm requires these 3 steps basically. So divide means what? Divide the problem into number of sub problems, right? Divide the problem into number of sub problems. Why you are dividing? So assuming that actual given problem is complex to handle, so divide that problem into smaller sub problems, so that assumption is smaller sub problems are easy to handle. It may be sorting, it may be searching. If it is searching, for example, if you are dividing that array, let us say 3 parts, right? 3 equal halves. Then searching an element in that complete array and searching an element in one of those 3 parts will be easy, right? Searching a smaller array will take lesser time as compared to searching an element in a bigger array. This is the idea. Now, take example of sorting. You want to sort, let us say, n elements, and you want to sort, let us say, n by 3 elements. So sorting n by 3 elements will take lesser time. So it means problem is less complex in that case. So idea is, why don't you divide that complex problem, initial problem, into easier sub problems, so that your work will be easy. This is the idea. So how to work? You need to first divide, right, your problem into number of sub problems. You can divide it into 3 sub problems. You can divide it into 4 sub problems. You can divide it into 10 sub problems. It is up to you, right? So at last, if you are dividing it, right, if you're dividing a problem into sub problem will be again the similar kind of problem. For example, initially problem was to sort the given elements. Sub problem, let us say, contains initially, let us say, element arrays contain 1000 elements, right? And you are divided into 4 equal parts. So one sub problem contains now 250 elements. Now again, problem is same. What is problem? Sorting. You need to sort those 250 elements, right? Then second sub problem again containing 250 problems, right? Elements. Again, you need to sort it separately. You can separately solve that third sub problem and 4 sub problem. Then you need to merge all these to get that actual 1000 element solution, right? So this is the idea. So initially you need to divide first into sub problems, then conquer. Conquer means what? Solve each sub problem separately, right? Basically using recursive approach. What do you mean by recursive? So look at the 250 elements, right? Still you have 250 elements to sort, right? You can think of this problem is again a big problem, right? Why don't you further divide into 4 parts? 4 equal parts. Initially, if you divide into 4 equal parts, you can repeat that operation. Now you are working with a sub problem with 250 elements, right? You can further divide into 4 equal parts, right? So 250 now, let us say it contains nearly 70 elements, right? Right? Or whatever. So 70, 70, 70, right? Again, look at that 70 as a big problem. You can again divide into 4 equal parts. Let's say elements are 80, right? Then you can again divide into 20 equal parts. You can keep on dividing these elements recursively. So you can solve it recursively, right? When you are having very small number of elements, maybe that operation is now trivial. For example, sorting. If you get a single element array at the end, after division, keep on dividing, right? Maybe you get a single element array in a division, right, as a sub problem. So single element array is by default it is sorted, right? So it is over. That problem is sorted. Now thing is you need to combine those all sorted arrays, single element arrays, and you can get that bigger 4 element sorted array. This is the idea. So keep on recursively solve the sub problem, right? So every sub problem is now individual, right? Independent. You can solve them recursively. Repeat same step, divide into sub problems, then solve it recursively, then combine the solution. Combine means what? When all the sub problems are sorted, right? Merge these sub problems into one solution. So you will get the solution of that bigger problem, right? Assume in this way. Initially there are 1000 elements. You have divided into 4 equal parts, let us say 250, 250 each, right? So there are 4 sub problems of 250. Now somehow recursively solve this 250 means sort all these elements if problem is sorting, right? Sort these 250 elements in first sub problem, then sort next 250 separately, independently, right? If you get these 4 sorted arrays, independent arrays, then you need to merge them. So you can compare their first element, right? Right? So find the smallest one and put in the sorted array. Then find out next smallest among the first of each array. So you will get the next sorted element. So you need to merge them in this way, right? Finally, you get the sorted sequence of 1000. This is the idea. So divide your problem into number of smaller sub problems, assuming that sub problems are easy. When all sub problems are solved separately, combine them to get a solution of that bigger problem, actual problem. This is the idea. This is the approach we are using in writing divide and conquer kind of algorithms, right? Fine. So this is an example. First way is this. So divide your array into 2 equal halves. This is an example, right? And recursively sort left and right halves of your array. Then merge the 2 halves. This is the approach that you are using in merge sort. You already work with merge sort, right? You know merge sort. So what you will do in merge sort? You will actually divide your array into 2 equal halves, then solve or sort them separately. Then after sorting them separately, you need to merge these 2 sub-arrays, right? So you will get the final n-order sorted array. This is the idea you are using in merge sort. Another example is do the partition array into items such that smaller elements will be in the left sub-array and larger element will be in the right sub-array. So create 2 sets. Find out the element, find out all the smallest element with as compared with the element that you have taken, and find the larger elements, right? And create 2 arrays, right? Sub-arrays. One sub-array will contain smaller elements, one sub-array contains larger elements. And consider them first as first partition and right array as second partition, right? So you'll get 2 sub problems here. So this kind of approach basically you are using in quicksort. This we'll see, right? We need to look at this merge sort and quicksort. These are 2 ways, right? So I think we should start with merge sort, right? I will take 5 minutes more. So merge sort. In merge sort, consider this array. This is the idea. You need to feel actually how we are dividing, conquer and combine. That is why actually I have begun with this merge sort. Merge sort, you know actually how it normally works. So initially, assume that there are total 60 number of elements. This is your input array. It contains 16 elements starting from index 1 up to 16, right? This is an array example, right? So elements are unsorted initially. You want to sort them using merge sort. So what you will do, you will basically divide this array into two parts. How? You need to add first index with last index, that is 16, and divide it to 2 and take an integer division, right? So you will get 17 divided by 2, that is actually 8 in integer, right? So 8 will be your midpoint. So now you can say that first sub problem will be from 1 to 8 that you want to sort, and second will be from 9 to 16. So you want to divide into two halves, right? So split the array into two parts. So this is how your splitting is done. Find out the middle index, right? So take first array from 1 to 8, right? Then 9 to 16. So splitting is done, means divide operation is over. You have done the division operation, right? Now you need to conquer it, right? Conquer means you need to separately solve these two sub-arrays. If you get the sorted array, you can now merge, right? This is the idea. So now sort each part separately. This is what actually you will do in conquer step, right? So in conquer step, somehow you need to sort them individually, and finally you will get two sorted arrays, right? Left side will be sorted in this way, and right side sub array will be sorted in this way. Then you need to combine them. How to combine them? We know that this array contains smaller element here, and this array contains smaller element here, isn't it? So how you to merge? Compare these two first element in both the arrays. Since 4 is smaller than 9, so store this 4 in the final sorted array. Then again shift in this array, right? This element is already stored, so move in this array one cell at right side, right? So 7. Now compare this 7 with 9. 7 is smaller, so put 7 here in the final sorted array. Then move to 12. Compare 12 with 9. 9 is smaller, so put 9 here. Similarly, compare 12 with 10 now. 10 is smaller, so 10 comes here. Now compare 16 with 12. So in this way, finally you can merge the two arrays elements, and finally you get the sorted sequence. So this is how actually you will get the sorted outcome. So what you will do? So you have initially, in this approach, you have initially split the arrays into two subproblems. Merge sort says that divide into two subproblems, right? Maybe there is some another sort algorithm which says divide into 3 sub-arrays, subproblems, right? Or 4 subproblems. It will split into two subproblems, right? Finally, when you got this solution, right? Individual solutions, then merge them, right? Using some function, merge them into one. So you will get a sorted solution. So what you have done here, now this is the issue, how to conquer actually, right? How to conquer. So how this conquer step will work. That may be an issue, right? So this is how actually conquer step will work. Initially assume that first index is P, second index is Q. In conquer you need to do P plus Q divided by 2, right? Oh, sorry. Let me look at it. I have an example. Oh. So conquer step we will see, right, later. So fine. I don't have example here, so I will keep the example next time. So this is what actually. So I hope you remember. So you realize the way, right? Approach says first divide the problem into subproblems, then combine, conquer it, right? Solve the subproblems separately, then finally combine them. This is what actually you are doing in merge sort. Since you have already worked with merge sort, you can easily visualize the example, give an example, right? So conquer step, I will give an example next time, how this conquer step will work. in merge sort, right? Then we see the algorithm in complex techniques. So let me stop this video. So you can ask your questions if there is any.